We're fishing today on a small river where one of the banks has been built up with Riprap Rock to minimize erosion when the river really starts to get high and fast. Riprap refers to rock material that is often broken up larger rock, and it is placed by man, it's not natural, around water shorelines or riverbanks to protect against water erosion, fast water, waves, etc. It usually descends below the waterline and onto the stream bed to a degree to strengthen the area from being torn away. It's generally not smooth or spherical in shape and more like rubble, irregular and angular. Due to its strength, shape and placement, it greatly slows down water, creates seams and back eddies, and provides a nearly immovable source of partially submerged rock where insects and baitfish can grow. Did someone say seams? Insects? Slowing of the water? Does that sound like ideal fish habitat to you? Perhaps prime lie conditions where fish will gravitate to? Methinks it does. And if it is good fish habitat, it makes sense for us as anglers to pay attention and consider targeting it. So let's examine and fish this section of water and see what results we can come up with. The water I'm fishing here is a small river, bigger than a creek, but still a small river. It's probably about 30 feet across, maybe 35 feet. Depth of it varies anywhere from about 6 inches to maybe about 2.5, 3 feet, so not extremely deep. See, by the far side, there's a fairly steep bank of Riprap Rock. In order to protect the shoreline from disappearing and getting washed away. Bit more of a steeper bank on that far side as well, so I could expect there to be some fish out there. It's more of a gradual slope working its way over there. The deepest part of the river, though, is pretty much still right down the center. It stays relatively flat, I think, going over to the far side, closer to the riprap. You also see that over in the Riprap Rock, how the water deflects. And by looking at the bubbles on the surface, you see that the water there is virtually motionless. Whereas if you come out from the riprap, maybe 2 feet, the water is moving at a pretty good walking speed. So, and right down the center, it's a little bit faster than walking speed. Close up, I can see the bottom. It's about 1.5 feet of visibility. From the perspective of the camera, you might be able to see better because you have a much better view than what I have here right now. But I'm going to cover this water starting down here, working the edge a bit, covering the riprap and covering the center of the river as well, seeing if I can find any trout here right now. So let's see what we find. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a coverage along the bank first, staying low, just in case there's any fish right near the edge that I can't see. There's a little bit of color in the water. It's a little bit browner than normal, and that may move some fish over to the edge just because we've had a lot of rain lately. That does two things, of course. It pushes some of the smaller fish to the sides because of the extra water flow. And it also makes the fish a little bit more braver, a little bit less scared of being in the shallow water edges just because there's more color in the water and things can't see them as well. Make my way a little bit further out. Trying to not quite get into the water yet. Just staying a little bit back. Oop, oop, oop. There's a fish right there. And that's why you don't quite walk out into the water yet. You don't want to spook those fish before you maybe have a chance to catch them. So you see there's a little bit of a structure in the water right in front of me there. That fish is just sitting on the other side of it, right about in the, I think, the deepest part of the channel. the deepest water. I am going to start to move it out now a little bit further. So I'm going to get up off my knees here and throw the fly out a little bit deeper. This is where I expect more of the fish to be, if anywhere. Just because it's about the point where I can't quite see the bottom as well. Every now and then I'm giving the fly a little bit of a bounce, just to draw some attention to it. Change up your drift. Give it a little bit of activity, just to see if that stimulates something. Fish are predators and they do key in on movement. There we go, just like that. They key in on movement. I hooked them kind of downstream of me, so I want to get over here a little bit more and make sure I get a good hook set on him. Wow. We'll speed it up here a bit as I fight the fish, and I'll do this a few times throughout the video just to conserve time. But we'll also keep the footage running so you can at least see the action. Beautiful silverfish. Nice wild rainbow in this case. Beautiful and silver. Back out into the water. Very nice 14 inches anyways. I would think on the edge of that Riprap Rock should be able to pull out some fish. All those rocks there will provide nice shelter from both predators and from the current. Also probably be a good trap for food, so there we go. Right in that little kind of back eddy that's over there. Well, there's a lot of little back eddies over there, but almost every little rock over there creates a back eddy. Definitely a nice fish. We'll speed it up again through the sequence as I fight this really good fish, and then slow it back down to regular speed once I land it. That's a good 20-inch fish. Beautiful cutthroat trout. First I'm going to see if I can pull anything out with the hares here. I don't expect it to be as effective, but I do expect to pull something out still with it. And I hope you don't mind if I just speed it up a bit as I cover the water here. Fish on the hares here. Ooh. Nothing wrong with that. Again, a very nice fish. Very close to the other one in size there. This was probably about 18 inches. Wind is starting to pick up a little bit. I may have to change how I hold my rod a little bit there and keep a little bit more of a lower profile against the water with it. And Oh yeah, there we go. As the previous two drifts had something on it there. I thought it was a snag. Fortunately, it was not. Yeah, and another really nice fish. Maybe 16 or 17 inches. All right. Oh, really nice male cutthroat. Big kype on him. Beautiful. Keep him in the water. Okay. Nice. So far the better fish have definitely all come closer to the Riprap Rock. I've picked up a few fish down the center, but any fish that was more than that 17 to 20 inch range has been right up against the Riprap Rock, which is right on the far side of the bubble line and right almost in the slack water created by that Riprap Rock, those boulders, which shows how great of a spot it can be. There we go. Right at the end of the drift as I was about to pull the fly out. Not a bigger fish, that's for sure, but he was sitting definitely more out in the middle. This guy wasn't quite tight up against the Riprap Rock, but so far the bigger fish all have been. But nothing wrong with this fish though. Nice 30 centimeter, 12-inch fish. But definitely the predominance of fish have been from that bubble line and across to the far end. And of course, why would they not be there? The bubble line represents where a lot of the food is. That's the deepest part of the run. And then the Riprap Rock gives both shelter and food over there as well, along with some depth. So it's an ideal spot for good fish to be sitting. The next time you come up to a river that has a good riprap shoreline somewhere, fish it really well. It offers cover, food, it's a break from the current, it's a cover from predators. It also usually notes an area that's fairly deep in the river, because usually wherever the Riprap Rock is there, that's meant to protect the shoreline from being eroded away, which means that there's probably some fast water that flows through there. And that fast water carves out the bottom of the riverbed just a little bit deeper, makes deeper spots for the fish to sit in, which is all prime things for the fish. In this case, we got a bubble line going very, very close to it with a few back eddies, and that just leads to a really nice, attractive spot. What did we observe today then? Well, there was a good number of fish in that stretch of water, no doubt about that. Both a nymph and egg pattern worked well, but the egg pattern did prevail more so, likely due to the recent salmon runs and the fluorescent color of the pattern in the off-color water. The fish mostly hit during the mid to latter half of the drift, as this is where your fly pattern is at its deepest point. It indicates that the fish themselves were as deep as they could be. More importantly though was where the fish were. Fish were found in two regions. The lesser holding area, maybe the B water you might call it, was the deep center of the run where the bubble line was. The better producing area though, the A water or prime water, was the far bank made up of the Riprap Rock. The majority of the larger trout, both rainbows and cutthroat up to about 20 inches in size, came within a couple of feet of the Riprap Rock bank. To me, this emphasized the importance of this structure in creating favorable habitat. When there are that many big fish in a similar type of water, you have to pay attention to that type of water in other water systems too. I hope this video demonstrated how productive riprap shoreline can be for larger fish. And the next time you're on the water with a chance to cover some riprap, you will be spending more time there exploring the fishing opportunities. Thank you for watching, and join us next time.